Okay, now that we have our floor, our walls, and our roof, we're going to add a few windows and doors to this just to kind of show you what's involved there. And the thing to remember about this is that each one of these elements are what is called a family. Okay, roofs, floors, and walls are what we call system families. Okay, um, but doors and windows are another type of family, and they're a lot easier to make and create than a different uh, system family. So let's just add some windows. Okay. Now, windows, I can go into architecture and windows, and there's loaded some windows in here. This is a fixed 36-inch by 48-inch window. We may see some others. There's casement windows added here. Um, and then here's a 36 by 72 inch, you know. Uh, there's a, and we can then also go into the families and find a whole nother set of windows. Um, so if we go into insert and we go into load a family and we go into the family directory, notice this is uh, Autodesk program data, Autodesk RV2 2019 libraries, US Imperial. Okay, it means it's feet and inches, right? And then if we go down here to Windows, oh, it's alphabetical, structural windows, there we go. You'll see there's a whole set of windows here. Nested family means that there are probably uh, elements, components within components within components. That's nesting. We won't worry about that. So see, these are some uh, that have been added in here. Every manufacturer of Windows today, every major manufacturer of Windows today, all have their Windows available for download to put into BIM models such as Revit. So you can go if you want Anderson Windows or Marvin Windows or Pella Windows or some kind of commercial window. Uh, Most of them are already there, ready for you to do. Uh, or you can make your own. A little bit more difficult, but you can make your own. These are parametric so that we can change sizes very easily, and I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second. Okay, so I'm not going to open up any new windows. You can play with it if you want to. That's perfectly fine. You can see the window that I have selected. Uh, It'll allow me in 3D to place that on there, or I can go to a north wall um, and architecture window, uh, and I can place it in elevation if I wanted to. Okay. Uh, Now my ceiling only goes up to here, so I don't want to put a window up here somewhere. So I want it down, down here where I can see out it, and it won't be up in the attic or in the crawl space. Um, so let's And then this is a fixed window. I've got two sizes, three sizes already in there. Well, several sizes. Okay, fixed windows. You can see 16-inch wide, 24-inch wide, 36-inch wide, uh, 36 by 72. Because it's a parametric model, I can go into edit type and I can do what I did before, and that is I can duplicate this and then go in and change its dimensions and how its height, its default seal height. This is if you insert it from a floor. Where the bottom of the window will be. And once again, once we get into this, you'll begin to understand this terminology and how this terminology relates to the windows. I'm just going to place these in right now by the first floor. So I'm going to go to the first floor, okay? And then let's go in here to Windows. And I'm going to use actually a, we'll use 36 by 72, okay? And uh, And so you can see it placed a window in there for me. You can see the glass and the seal. In most cases, it will adjust the seal depth and seal width because it's been designed to do that. So based on if this was an 18-inch wall, this would be thicker. Um, Notice that the glass is on the inside and the seal is very deep on the exterior. Normally, that's not the case. The seal is usually uh, not as deep on the outside, and that's to protect moisture from trapping in. If it went this direction, then moisture would be trapped here and and could so usually the thicker part of the seal. Now we can make this centered in here if we wanted to. We'd have to go back and change the family. Right now these are presets that in there. So now we have one window. I'm just going to go ahead and place a few others in the same wall. So let's just go ahead. I'm just going to throw them in here. Once again, I approach this the same way that I approach. I get them in there and then I move them around and make them where I want them. One technique that I'll show you real quickly. Okay, I'm going to flip these so that the wet glass is all facing to the outside. And then what I'm going to do is come in and put a string of dimensions on them. Okay, so from the center line here to the center line of that window, the center line of that window, that window, that window, that window, and then the center line of that wall. Now I can change that. I don't have to go to the center line, but that's the easiest thing to do, right? If I come in here and now that I've tied a dimension to the location of these windows, if I come in here and say equal, what it's going to do, it's going to make all of these dimensions equal and space all the windows an equal dimension from each other. Okay, so if we go back, and that's would be the east elevation. So no, the west elevation. So let's take the west elevation. So now you can see there's my windows. They're a foot, you know. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward until you start trying to, change uh, the basics, uh, which are easy to do. Well, not real easy to do, but can be done fairly simply. Uh, let's go ahead and put some more windows in, kind of finish this off. I'll go back to the finished floor. Another way I can add those windows would be to just select them. Okay, so I'm using the control key and selecting each one of those windows. And then I'm going to mirror them. So I'm going to use the mirror command, pick an axis, and then what I want is the center line. So I'm going to use a center line here. Okay, so where's the center line? I guess that's on the center line. That's the reason I'm not getting the little triangle. Okay, so we'll just center line this, uh, and you'll notice it mirrored and copied the windows. So now we have them on the west wall too. Okay. Um, Now let's add a door, and so we're going to put a door. Let's put a couple more windows uh, in that front wall, in the south-facing wall. So once again, go back to window, and let's put two over here and two over here, and then I'm going to put a door right in there. So let's go into architecture. We're going to go into doors, and you'll see a single flush door, a really ugly color, single flush. We can go in and once again and go into insert, load families, and there's some other doors here, double wall storefront. These are for glass curtain walls, uh, double glass, uh, sliding. We'll just add this double glass. Okay, and so when I selected that, it showed me a list of the existing double glass windows. I need to make this smaller so it'll fit on my screen. Okay, so we can see here are its width and their height. This is a 7-foot high, 6-foot wide. Um, And so that's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to select that and say OK, and then it's going to import that, load that into my project. And then I can click on that and I can add now. Oops, there we go. So I should be able to add that right there. Okay. Uh, and then it's a commercial building, so the doors need to open to the outside for code reasons. And then I'm going to use my dimensioning tool again, and I'm just going to dimension these to the center. And just because it's easy, I'm going to make them all equal. Okay. So now if I go look at the south wall, okay, I now have those windows. And so anyway, that's how you add doors and windows into existing walls. Uh, and that ends what we're going to do. The next video is going to tell you what I'd like for you to do for a submittal and turn in to us, to myself and the GAs.